Trump versus Kamala, Coke versus Pepsi. The illusion of democracy. How the cabal manipulates global politics. The world we live in today is often portrayed as a beacon of democracy and freedom, particularly by nations like the United States. However, beneath the surface lies a different reality, one where a small group of powerful elites, often referred to as the cabal, exerts control over most of the planet. This cabal operates behind the scenes, placing its own leaders in power, manipulating elections, and using the rhetoric of democracy as a convenient marketing tool. This essay explores the idea that true democracy has never existed, and that the system we call democracy is merely a facade that serves to legitimize the cabal's control over global resources and power. The myth of democratic choice. Coke versus Pepsi tactics. Elections are often portrayed as the cornerstone of democracy, offering citizens the opportunity to choose their leaders and shape the future of their nations. However, when the same elite group controls both major political parties, the notion of choice becomes an illusion. This can be likened to a Coke versus Pepsi scenario, where the options presented to the public may appear different on the surface, but in reality, they serve the same interests. For example, in the United States, the two-party system is dominated by the Democrats and Republicans. While these parties may differ on certain issues, they are ultimately funded by and answer to the same corporate and financial interests. Whether it's the influence of Wall Street, the military-industrial complex, or big tech companies, both parties are beholden to the same power structures. As a result, it doesn't matter who is elected as president. The policies and actions that benefit the cabal will continue unabated. This phenomenon isn't limited to the United States. Many other nations experience similar situations, where elections are little more than a formality, and the true power lies with a select group of elites who control the political and economic systems. In such cases, democracy becomes a convenient tool for the cabal to maintain its control, giving the appearance of freedom and choice while ensuring that the status quo remains unchanged. The role of democracy and freedom as marketing tools. Democracy and freedom are powerful concepts that have been used to justify everything from foreign interventions to domestic policies. In the United States, these ideals have been invoked to legitimize wars in countries like Iraq and Syria, nations rich in energy and other natural resources. The narrative is often framed as a fight for democracy against oppressive regimes, but the underlying motive is usually the acquisition of resources and strategic advantage. For instance, the invasion of Iraq in 2003 was justified on the grounds of spreading democracy and eliminating weapons of mass destruction. However, it soon became clear that the true motive was control over Iraq's vast oil reserves. Similarly, the ongoing conflict in Syria has been framed as a struggle for freedom, but it is also a strategic move to control the region's energy resources and influence the balance of power in the Middle East. The use of democracy as a marketing tool is not just limited to foreign policy. Domestically, the rhetoric of freedom and democratic choice is used to placate the general population, giving them the illusion that they are in control of their own destiny. In reality, the choices available to them are carefully curated by the cabal, ensuring that no matter who is elected, the outcome will always favor the interests of the elite. The farce of political promises. One of the most significant ways in which the illusion of democracy is maintained is through political promises. During election campaigns, candidates from all parties make grand promises to the electorate, promises that are often designed to appeal to the hopes and desires of the people. However, once in power, these promises are rarely fulfilled. This pattern is evident in many political systems, but perhaps most glaringly in the United States. Candidates promise everything from universal health care to tax cuts, but once elected, they often face obstacles that prevent them from delivering on these promises. These obstacles are usually portrayed as political gridlock or economic constraints, but in reality, they are a reflection of the cabal's influence in ensuring that policies do not disrupt the existing power structures. The upcoming U.S. elections, for example, will likely feature a contest between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, a matchup that some might liken to a Vegas-style fake boxing match. The media will hype the contest, people will passionately support their chosen candidates. But in the end, it will be business as usual for the cabal. Both candidates, regardless of their public personas or campaign rhetoric, will ultimately serve the same interests. The puppet masters behind the scenes. At the heart of this illusion is the idea that politicians are not truly independent actors, but are instead pawns manipulated by puppet masters. These puppet masters are the members of the cabal, an elite group that controls the political, economic, and media systems. They use their power to place their chosen candidates in positions of authority, ensuring that their interests are always protected. This manipulation is facilitated by the nature of the political class itself. Many politicians, particularly in the United States, come from backgrounds in law, professions where the ability to argue, persuade, and at times deceive is highly valued. This training makes them well-suited to the role of politician, where the ability to present a convincing narrative to the public is crucial. However, it also means that they are often more focused on maintaining power and serving their benefactors than on genuinely representing the interests of the people. The result is a political system where democracy is little more than a facade. The real decisions are made behind closed doors by a small group of elites who have no accountability to the public. The politicians who are presented to the public are simply actors in a carefully scripted play designed to give the illusion of choice and maintain the legitimacy of the system. Conclusion: the need for awareness and change. The idea that democracy and freedom are utopic terminologies used to deceive the general population is a sobering one. It challenges the very foundation of modern political systems and calls into question the legitimacy of the governments that claim to represent the people. However, recognizing this reality is the first step toward meaningful change. As long as the cabal continues to control the political and economic systems, true democracy will remain an illusion. The challenge for those who seek genuine freedom and self-determination is to expose this deception and work toward creating a system that truly represents the interests of the people. This will require not only political reform, but also a fundamental shift in the way we think about power, democracy, and the role of government in society. Only by breaking free from the illusion of choice and recognizing the true nature of the system can we hope to create a world where democracy and freedom are more than just marketing tools. They become the reality for all.